It is time, my friends. We are going to read the entire Game Changer series by Rachel Reid. Hi guys, I'm Suvi, and if you're new here, welcome, and if you're not new here, welcome back. I'm so glad to have you guys. This time we are gonna be doing something very exciting. I have been saving this up for the winter break so that I can read the entirety of the Game Changer series by Rachel Reid. And I'm gonna place my phone here because I have the other two books as ebooks. I'm so beyond excited. I, like many others, have seen the Heated Rivalry TV series and it's so good. It changed my life as someone who is a lifetime hockey fan, who has always loved reading and has always loved hockey romance. This show was more than I could have ever hoped for. To start this, I have read Heated Rivalry already, but I will be rereading it because I read this in like 24 hours when the show started airing and I don't really remember much of it anymore. And actually my friend told me years ago that I would... Wait, this is the wrong book. Where did I put the Heated Rivalry? Actually, my friend told me years ago that I would love this, but because it's a series, I obviously wanted to read the books in order. But I just, for the life of me, could not get through Game Changers. I have tried and I have failed 3 times. I have DNF'd this book 3 times. 2 times as an audiobook. The first time I got like halfway through it, the second time not even that far, and the third time I started it again as an ebook before I gave up and went straight to Heated Rivalry. And I got in like halfway that time too, but I just couldn't do it. I told myself that I will be finishing Game Changers even if it's the last thing I will ever do, and it's the time, okay? We will be finishing that book. And actually, I already finished it. Last night I was laying in bed and I was like, okay, I'm gonna get started on the book because it's gonna take me forever to read it. And tell me why suddenly it was pretty easy to read and I ended up staying up until like 3 a.m. to finish the book in one go. Okay, I did start from the halfway point where I left a few months ago, but I have finished Game Changers! Woo! Okay, let's talk about Game Changers. I'm going to give it a very generous 2 stars. And let me explain why. I don't like Kip. Like, at first when I was reading the book the first 3 times, I just did not care about the characters. And the 4th time was obviously easier because I fell in love with Scott Hunter through the show. But even with the show I didn't really care about Kip, which is like, I'm glad that Scott Hunter is happy with him, but I just don't like Kip. And in the book even more because I found him a really annoying character, and like, if he had just talked, everything would have been so much easier. But why 2 stars instead of 1 even after DNFing this book 3 times is because it was really funny at times, and once you got through like the first 70% of the book, the last 30% are actually really good and I really enjoyed them. It got better, okay? And even though I don't really like Kip, I did really enjoy the side characters like Maria and Elena, and Scott's teammates and friends are really lovely, and Kip's family, I adored them, and that really made up for it. And the Easter egg of Ilya Rozanov on Every Now and Then was just excellent. And I think my favorite part of the book is that Scott's thoughts on the NHL and Jane's are basically exactly the same as mine, because NHL is the enemy in the book. There is not an ex, there is not a someone they cheat with. It's just them and NHL and the hockey world that is the problem here. Because even though NHL has Pride Nights and stuff like that, it's not very accepting world, and you do risk losing a lot. You risk losing your friends, your team, your career, everything you have worked for, and that is very scary, especially when you are the first. Like, that's the thing. Change is hard and it's scary, and someone has to be the first. This is from when Scott talks with his agent about coming out, and his agent is like, can I ask why the hell you are even considering this? To which Scott is, I don't want to lie anymore, and his agent is like, Why not? Everyone lies. You think you're the only gay guy in the NHL? No chance. You're just the only one who is considering telling the fucking world. Don't do it, Scott. You will lose everything. Which is like a very valid point. He could lose everything, but losing that, which gaining so much more. And are you following my thoughts? Because I lost my thought, what I was gonna say. I'm a hockey fan, and NHL, there has been almost 9,000 players in the NHL since it has been created in 1917, and it's not possible that not a single one of those people have been gay, but it's just that it has not been an environment where they feel safe enough to come out. It's not an environment where they feel like they can be themselves and keep their career, keep playing hockey, which is a pity, and we need change for that. But like Scott Hunter in real life too, someone has to be the first, and if you're not the top, if you're not like Scott Hunter coming out, that's a risk, and I do understand that, but I do really hope someone is brave enough to be the first one, and I really hope to get to see that as soon, maybe. Like I said, I have been a hockey fan all my life, and most of that time the hockey space, it has not been the most welcoming. As a woman, like it's men's sport, you're not supposed to be there, that's not space for you. Okay, let's also touch up heated rivalry a bit, but I do generally think this show is changing things for the better. It's very important show to me, and hopefully for many others. That's the point. It's a love story, but it's still about hockey, because if Scott Hunter wasn't a hockey player, the story wouldn't exist, because like, of course, there are other professions where being gay isn't really... Would the story work in other context? Not really, because NHL is the enemy, it's the villain of the story. Okay, so what I'm trying to say is that even though I don't really like the story itself that much, no, that's not what I'm trying to say. What I'm actually trying to say is that even though I didn't really like the Kip and Scott as a couple that much, and their story itself wasn't my favorite. Their story itself is very important and very, very, very dear to my heart. Like, it's a story waiting to happen in real life. It's just... I keep forgetting I don't have the physical copy. I only have these as physical copies because my bookstore didn't have others. And I don't have space on my shelf, so probably for the best. I'm kinda trying to say is hockey is a wonderful sport. It's a sport I love. It's a sport so many other people love, and I'm hoping the game changers will truly change the game. And Scott Hunter, you are extremely dear to me. I love you, and I would absolutely die for you in a heartbeat. Breaks my heart a little bit because there is someone in real life who is Scott Hunter waiting to happen, and I just wonder how they're doing and how they're feeling. I hope the world is ready when they are ready. I hope the world is ready soon. Why are these hockey books making me cry? Okay, let's move on from Scott and Kip and get to heated rivalry, or otherwise this video is gonna be 3 hours long if I keep rambling. I gotta say, that's a good paperback. It's a floppy. I love a good floppy paperback, but let's get to this bad boy. I have 2 hours until I'm meeting my friend. We're going ice skating, so I should be able to make a pretty good progress in that time. My cat just opened my door. He has never done that before. Perhaps unpopular opinion, but I do much prefer the name Boston Raiders from the TV show above Boston Bears from the books. I just don't think Boston Bears have the same ring to it as Boston Raiders. Also, hazel eyes. Rachel Reid, I love you, but you do not have to mention that Ilya has hazel eyes every single page, okay? That's a bit too much, okay? And then my favorite part of this book, which is the yearning, because Game Changer is more of a insta-love type of thing, which is something I don't really vibe with usually. And this is yearning for years and years, and yes, they are having sex the whole time, but they are yearning, they have feelings for each other. For the beginning of that relationship they have, it's just sex for them, they don't realize the feelings they have for each other. and you as a reader are aware of the feelings long before the characters actually realize them. And I think that's just very beautiful choice style-wise. As someone who does not read smut or romance, I think this is just great. I don't know what's in this book, but it has changed my life. And another thing I really love about this book is the foreshadowing, which you don't really realize on the first read, or at least I didn't, but on my second read it's very obvious. But for instance, this is on page 39, so very in the beginning of the book. We were supposed to stand alone at the top, but we will always be there together. We will keep climbing until no one else can reach us, but it will always be together. Which is just, they will always be together. Like, on page 39, I mean, I haven't read The Long Game yet, but I know they're playing the long game, and it's just... Ilya Rozanov as a character is very dear to my heart. I really relate to his struggle with English. I remember being young and not understanding word of English and really struggling with that. His mental health and stuff, I really relate to him. And maybe it's him being Slavic and I'm Finnish, so we are pretty close. Moscow is literally next door. And Shane, oh, he's just my darling autistic son. I wanna put him in my pocket, okay? I love them so much, guys. I just adore this. I'm having excellent time. I think everyone should read gay hockey books. And you know what? That's exactly what I'm gonna do. I probably should go to sleep, but Shane Hollander and Rose Landry have just met for the first time and I fear I cannot stop reading now. Why are Shane and Rose having this conversation in public? It baffled me the first time I read this book, it baffled me in the show, it baffles me now. Shane is so stressed about being found out and coming out, and why are we having this conversation in public? I finished Heated Rivalry and I'm obsessed. Is this the best book ever written? No, absolutely not, but like my good and personal friend Samwise once said, there is good in this world and it is indeed worth fighting for, and 5 stars, absolutely. But I do have to say, the Heated Rivalry TV series is the best on-screen adaptation I have ever seen in my life, hands down. There is literally no competition for that title. Most of the time I wanna fight the producers, I wanna be in the writer room myself, but I trust Jacob Tierney with my life, honestly. I think he will take care of my boys, okay? One thing, that they had a missed opportunity with the show when they changed NHL to MHL. They could have called it JHL, aka Global Hockey League, because they have players all over the world coming to play hockey there, so a global. The J obviously stands for gay, because everyone is gay. I think I'm a genius, honestly. I do have some thoughts about the smut in this book, but my parents are in the living room and most likely watching this video as well, so I will be not talking about that at this time, okay? Just a personal question. What's wrong with the word lovers? Because I think that's very cute. And then the most unrealistic part of the whole book and the series as well. What do you mean 2 hockey players cannot eat 8 hamburgers? Have you ever seen a hockey player? In conclusion, Heated Rivalry is excellent and I will be recommending it to literally everyone. If Gangnam Style could not achieve world peace, this is the second option. But now we are gonna get into Tough Guy, because I also read about 60% of this by complete accident, because last night when I was reading Heated Rivalry I was like, it's so late, I have to stop reading, I have to go to sleep. So I put my book down, then I was like, but I'm not really tired, so I ended up starting the ebook for Tough Guy. I was on page 3, I repeat, page 3, when I was like, oh, Ryan Price, I love you and I would die for you. He's so very dear to me, he has got anxiety. I'm one man Ryan Price defense squad. this cover, okay? I generally don't have anything against the other covers. Like, I actually kind of like these. I will take literally anything over the shirtless man on the covers, and I think this is excellent upgrade. Look at the tough guy cover. What is this? Look at my son Fabian. Fabian? Is that how you pronounce his name? I don't know. Look at him. He's a fashion icon. He's a diva. What do you mean he's wearing that in the cover? He would never, never in a million years wear that. I think it's a crime. I finished Tough Guy a lot faster than I was anticipating, so let's talk about it. I'm gonna give it 3 stars, I think. It was good, I had good time, it was cute, but also I was kinda bored at times, and I have beef with Fabian. Okay, he came around, I understand where he's coming from, but also if you do not like hockey players, why are you dating one? Like, I don't like dentists, so I'm not going around dating dentists. But Ryan Price, the man you are, like, he's very brave, and I just adore him. Being able to realize that something you have loved, something you have been doing all your life, basically no longer serves you, and it no longer makes you happy, and being able to tell yourself, okay, this is enough, I'm gonna stop now, and walking away from it, that's hard, and change is hard. The fact that at the end he ends up coaching at the camp Hollander Rosanov start, it just made my heart so happy, because I'm a firm believer that you have to be the change you want to see in the world. And even after walking away from hockey as a player, he still obviously cares about hockey, and I think it means a lot to him to be able to contribute to hockey in some ways and hopefully make the hockey world better, and I just adore that. And something I especially loved was the funeral scene, and Ilya Rosanov, he's just a sweetheart. He cares so much about literally everything and everyone, and it pains me that some people don't seem to realize that. He has the biggest heart ever, like, I love him. I think the funeral scene was really important because it was like Harvey had never existed. He would have given everything he had to hockey, and when there was nothing left, hockey had abandoned him. And that's just like, at the end of the day, hockey is just a job, like every other job is a job, and your job, it does not care about you. I think that was the wake-up call for Ryan, and I think that's a really important reminder for everyone else that it's just a job at the end of the day. So I think that's why I feel very strongly about these books, because I do really love the real hockey as well, and I want to see the change that's happening in the books. I want to see it happen in real life as well. I think that's it for my thoughts on Tough Guy. Really great read. I think there was something missing, and I didn't really vibe with Fabian, so that's why we're settling on 3 stars, but it was great, excellent anyways. Now, the time we have all been waiting for, or at least I have been waiting for very excitedly, we are gonna be starting Common Goal. Eric Bennett, he's a goalie! I'm so excited. If you don't know, goalie is my favorite position in hockey, and most of my favorite players are goaltenders, so I'm super excited about this. Though I'm pretty sure this is the one book where there is like a bigger age gap, and I'm not a very big fan of age gap. I have decided to trust Rachel Reid, so. Okay guys, I'm about 15% into the Common Goal, and it's so funny, I keep laughing. I can't stop thinking about I think it was Tumblr post where someone was like, if you're closeted gay and you play for the NHL, Ilya Rosanov has your location and is approaching with great speed. Like, every time I turn the page and I see his name, I'm like, oh, this is gonna be good, and he has never let me down so far. I'm having so much fun. Bennett is just, I love him. I have known him for like an hour maybe, I don't know. I mean, he was in Game Changer, but we barely learned anything about him, so I'm very excited to learn more about him. And Kyle, one of my friends said that I will love Kyle because they love Kyle too, and yeah, she was right. Emilia, if you're watching this, hi. I love you. I'm so glad you got me into Heated Rivalry, because I don't know if I would be here without you. Guys, it's Bennett's last season. I finished Common Goal and I had a great time with it. In the beginning I was sure it would be my favorite book so far in the series, but towards the end I'm not so sure about that. But I would say solid 4 stars. Eric Bennett, he stole my heart, okay? When he plays his last game and at the end he says goodbye to his goalposts and is like, treat well the next generations. I almost cried, guys. The age gap didn't bother me as much as I was thinking it probably would, because they're both adults. But Ben, Bennett, I love him. My absolute favorite part was the game where Bennett was thinking about how the fans had pride flags in the audience and how they maybe for Scott, how much it means to see them too, even though the fans don't know they are for him too, because that's the whole point. That's why it's important, that's why the representation matters. And just, I said I wouldn't be talking about the smut, but I will be talking about the smut just a teeny tiny bit. I did not care for the smut in this book at all. I admit I was skimming pages at times because I was bored with the smut and I did not care about it. In my heart, Eric Bennett, he is asexual, and I don't know if Rachel Reid meant to write it that way. It does very much appear that he is like on the ace spectrum somewhere, and I love that for him. Why did we go hiking at the end of the book, okay? That kind of just threw me off. But Bennett retiring, that's just, that broke my heart. I can imagine what it's like to have this career and then it ends when you are 41, when you're literally so young still, but in hockey years that's a lot, and it's over for you, and like, what do you do with the rest of your life? And I imagine that must be really scary, honestly, because you have dedicated your life to this sport. So yeah, he retiring really got to me, okay? Especially because most of my actual real life favorite players are goalies and I have watched way too many of them retire, and I don't think I can survive another one. This was a really fun book. I really had a great time with it, especially the beginning was excellent, and I loved the surprise of Ilya Rosanov every now and then. And we also saw Shane after a long time, and he's so very dear to me, and I'm so excited to see him again, hopefully soon, because we will be starting Role Model today. All I know about this is that Troy Barrett is friends with the Dallas Kent, the asshole guy, and Harris does social media for the team. He has my dream job, okay? If any hockey team happens to ever be watching this and they're like, and we need social media person, I'm your person, okay? Call me. And I have heard so many great things about this book and I'm excited. But before that I have to kinda do other things, but I'm excited. Okay, I have read about half of Role Model and I'm having the time of my life. I wasn't expecting to love this book at all as much as I am loving it right now, and honestly my midway thoughts are just, Troy, please. I'm sorry, but Rachel Reid is wrong. Ilya Rosanov is in no way dog person. No, he's a cat person. Cats, you know, like this. Ilya Rosanov is a cat person, okay? In my heart, he is a cat person. But honestly, I think I would have finished this in one go. If I didn't realize it's 4 AM, I really need to go to sleep. Yeah, I cannot do all-nighters anymore. I have gotten old. I do have some other thoughts, but I will keep them for the final review after I finish this, because I have to see how they play out before I make my final conclusions. For now, I'm having a great time, and also I found my fancy bookmark. I thought I lost it. The plane! I was having such a good time and now the plane! Also, I knew there was gonna be a plane, but I didn't know it was gonna happen in this one. I thought it was gonna happen in the long game, and I was not prepared at all. Oh my god. Do you remember the show that investigated airplane crashes? Because I do remember that show. It scared the hell out of me when I was a kid. Even to this day, I do not like flying at all. And now there is a plane. And I'm gonna be in a plane in 3 weeks. This is bad. And I was having such a good time. Oh no. I finished Role Model and 5 stars. Incredible. I absolutely loved this. There is a discussion on sexual assault and rape. If that's something you don't want to read about, keep that in mind, but it's only discussed, it's not described. And this has really important discussion about how often in hockey and obviously in other sports and other professions as well, it's just something that gets swept under the rug and nothing really happens. And I really love Troy and I'm so proud of him. It's just beautiful. I'm obsessed. I don't know what to say. Reading this, especially at the end, the Pride Night game, and it was like seeing the Pride future ahead of us and being like, oh, I cannot wait that we are in real life are at that point. It just made me very hopeful for the future because I do really love this sport a lot and I want great things for it. Troy meeting his mom again after a long time at the end. I was crying, okay? I love him so much. I think the point of this all is that changing the world is hard. Changing this sport, changing hockey, it's hard, but it's possible and you can start that change by looking at yourself and changing yourself. It's just very hopeful, especially as someone who for a long time did not like who they are. It was just like a relief. It's just great, okay? I loved this. My only complaint though is that the plane crash, okay? That was like 2 pages and then it was basically not discussed. They were like nervous about flying and stuff, but like, you plane crashed, okay? Why are we not talking about more? And that's why I'm so scared about starting the long game, because I fear I have to live through that again in more detail this time. But I'm also very excited and look at that! She's over 400 pages and I'm so excited. I have had so much fun with this series. I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I have missed my boys Shane and Ilya and I'm so excited to be reading about them again. So I guess all left to do is to get into this. I hope I will love this. I have a bit of a habit of hating the books I thought I would like, but I have high hopes and I have trust in Rachel Reid, so I have read a bit over 100 pages of The Long Game and I think this might be the best thing that has ever happened to me. I'm obsessed. I just miss them so much and they're together now, but there's still the yearning, which is what I crave in romance, which I don't read a lot. Like, if they're not yearning for each other for years, I do not want it. Other books have been more of insta-love, which is cute, but not my thing. And the way having to keep the secret is eating them both. And it's just so glorious and I want only the best for them. It's not that late yet, but unfortunately I also care about the real life hockey and the Boston Bruins game just started. And I will be listening to that, okay? I'm excited. This book is all my dreams come true, honestly. Remember when I was like, this is the best thing that has ever happened to me? Well, I'm about halfway through and I think this is the last thing that will ever happen to me. Also, Ilya, I have something for you to sign. Welcome to the family. Also, I'm low-key scared because I'm halfway through and literally nothing has happened yet. Like, there is the little fluffy moments and then there is the yearning and suffering. But other than that, where is the plane? I am scared. And we are in the plane. I don't know if I can do this again. It was bad enough the first time. And it wasn't even about Ilya and Shane. I haven't even read the plane scene and I'm already crying. And it's also 1 a.m. and we are losing in hockey. I knew 3 things about this book beforehand, and they were the plane crash, they get outed, and they get married. And I have 80 pages left, and only one of those things has happened. How are those other 2 gonna happen in this little chunk without it feeling hurried? I'm not sure if I finished the long game or if the long game finished me. 5 stars, absolutely incredible, I loved it. Again, is it the best book ever written? No, it's not, but it made me happy, and I think that's the most important thing in life. Bear with me, I have some critique for this book. The plane stuff, that's really heavy, that's really traumatic event, and it's dealt with in like few pages and then it's not really talked about again, and that really bothers me. But again, without the plane it probably would have taken them like 10 years to get engaged, so I will take it, but that's just, I don't like that. And Shane feels kinda unfinished character compared to Ilya, so you can definitely see who is the favorite child. But I do have high hopes for the next book, and I hope we will get more Shane, have him kind of become himself, because as an autistic person I also do relate to the fact that there are just a few things in life that I care about, and my life revolves around those things. So I think if someone wrote me as a book character, someone else will be like, okay, Suvi is really unfinished, like there is no depth to her. But I also would really love to see the autism that Hatcha Williams portrayed it in Shane on screen translated to the book, because personally I don't really see it in the books, especially in Heated Rivalry, a bit more in the long game. But I do hope that in Unrivaled we'll be seeing a lot more of that, and my dream would be Shane officially getting diagnosed with autism, but I don't know if that's gonna happen, but I do hope for that. The end of the book does feel really hurried, which is what I was worried about, but also I was sobbing my eyes out, and it was beautiful still. Just wished the pacing of the book was a bit different, but I can live with that. You know, I need the centaurs to win the cup in the next book. I don't care how unrealistic that may be, I need them to win the cup, okay? Rachel Reid, I have one request, and it is that the Ottawa Centaurs win the cup, okay? Everything else, up to you, but I need them to win the cup, okay? I don't know what to say about this book. It was... I'm not used to having things going well in books. I read a lot of mysteries and crime stuff. It's just beautiful to have people be in love and that being the point. A lot of times the thoughts the characters have about hockey and the hockey world, they were exactly my thoughts about hockey, and their hopes for hockey and the future of hockey are what I hope for hockey, and that was just really touching for me, because a lot of times it feels kinda lonely and like things are not changing, but I do believe that these books, the Heated Rivalry TV show, I do believe these things are changing the world a bit by bit. Hockey is not something I used to talk about online a lot, but I have started doing that after the series came out, and yeah, I'm excited to be part of that change, if that makes sense. Something very exciting to be obsessed with book series. I haven't had that in a long time. Like, I love the characters, I love the series, and I had excellent time. Even with the books I didn't like that much, I still had great time, and just these books have a very special place in my heart now, and I know I will be rereading them in the future. I know I said I have only one request for Rachel Reid, but I need a book about Mattialo and Maria. I had excellent time reading these books and I hope you guys enjoyed hearing my thoughts and watching this video. Please come chat about Hated Rivalry and Game Changers and hockey and everything with me in the comments. And if you haven't subscribed my channel yet, please do. I'll be talking about books and K-pop and hockey and a bit of everything I want here. And like the video as well, and I hope to see you guys in some other video as well.